reason that I have decided to make a career change after 27 years on the agency side of our business is because I have just been so fascinated and so excited by the amazing amount of transformation and evolution happening in the television industry. And the hotspot of where all of that is happening is in the addressable and advanced video sector, specifically being led by connected TV. And I've just been watching it and observing it, and also simultaneously observing the way that marketer needs have been changing over the past several years. And marketers are absolutely much more focused on the building their repositories of data about their customers, their first-party data assets, and leveraging knowledge and insights and understanding from that data to improve and connect all of their brand experiences. And a big part of their brand experience is their advertising and media presence. And when you think about marketers looking to leverage data in their media and advertising, addressability and measurability are very high on the priority list. So when I have seen the evolution that's been going on in the TV industry, the footprint is growing, the addressable footprint is growing. The ability to do that in connected TV and be able to close the loop and measure the results of what you're doing, to me, that's where a huge opportunity lies. I truly do believe that the streaming and connected TV space could become one of the, if not the most valuable and useful media channels to marketers over the next 5 to 10 years, maybe taking the space that social and search have taken over the past decade or so. So that's what had me excited about the sector. And I have spent some time looking into the sector and how I could get involved, because I have had a desire to be involved. And I think a key, it's clear to me that the space and the change that's going on is still nascent, right? So it's an undeveloped space. The experience isn't optimal yet. The industry hasn't matured. There's a lot of operational rigor to be still put forth in the connected TV space. And so I would like to be involved in improving that experience.
So putting on your agency hat that you just took off quite recently, what are sort of the questions, the issues, the challenges faced by media buyers in this fast changing world? And what do you hope to help them understand and unpack?
Well, I think there's a few different areas that I think today agencies really need to start to develop their capabilities in. One would be on the insight front. So there's been a huge change in viewing behavior by the consumer. And I know from where I've been over the past 25, 27 years, that the amount of insight into what viewers are actually watching between linear and streaming is limited. It has been limited. There is availability now today with TV ACR data to be able to gain further insight into what people are viewing. And that's one of the advantages of a TV ACR company like Samba. I'd like to be able to illustrate how those insights can be deeper and more robust to our agency partners. I think when you think about the way that agencies are going to market today, they are all building up and building out their person-based or household-based audience platforms, because they do recognize that the priority of marketers is to leverage their first-party data. And when you're going to market utilizing audiences that have been built by such a granular set and individualized set of data, you need to be able to measure viewing of those audiences. And the only way you can measure the viewing of audiences like that is if you're matching it up to viewing behavior that can be pulled apart and parsed apart at that same individual household level. And that is what the data that Samba does provide enables. And finally, for marketers, being able to measure the return on their investment in their advertising has never been more important. And honestly, it's never been more possible. Today, there is an opportunity to measure the return because you are going to market utilizing individual level data. If you can marry that up with individual level viewing data, and then you're able to record where the advertising is delivered and where it's not. That gives you the opportunity to measure how it's working. And that is obviously what I believe is going to make the connected TV space so valuable and useful to marketers, is that addressability and that measurability.
Kris, so we hear a lot about companies that are using ACR and related data, the OEMs in a big way, and of course they're becoming quite a bit more closed in terms of availability. The data game around glass is really changing. What does that mean to marketers, and what does that mean to Samba in terms of the direction of the company?
Well, Andy, I think you've touched on what I sort of have seen as the biggest step forward that I'm very, very hopeful the connected TV space can make over the next several years. And it's probably one of the driving forces of why I have decided to get into this space. And that is, I truly do believe that the television world, and I mean linear and connected all together, can be way more powerful and way more valuable and useful to the marketers that support it, and quite frankly, to the viewers that support it, if there is visibility across all of the different partners within it, within the ecosystem. I think that there is a tendency to lean towards creating a closed system, to create, what you would call a walled garden, whether you're an OEM, whether you're a platform, whether you're a very large media publisher that has lots of different assets that are linear and addressable. And I really do believe that for video to truly work as hard as it should, and for it to be an optimized experience for the viewer at home, and so they're not going to be seeing the same commercial 10 times in an evening, interconnectedness, intermeasurability is a critical step that I think the industry needs to take. And quite frankly, I think all boats can rise with that tide if there is an ability to see across all of those partners, which brings me to the main reason why I'm at Samba today. Samba is a data, an audience, an identity, a media, and a measurement company. So we have all of the tools to offer up to our agency partners, to marketers, and to publishers to be able to deduplicate audiences across individual channels within the ecosystem, to understand the unduplicated reach of a media campaign across linear and connected and across digital channels. And what that allows a marketer to do, quite frankly, is to manage their ad campaign in a far more efficient and effective manner, optimizing the amount of frequency that any particular viewer might see. And frankly, I think that's good for viewers, I think it's good for marketers, and I think it's good for media companies. So that to me is the biggest thing. And it really does, I have learned since I've been at Samba, the ethos that drives the people here is that we're all trying to make the TV experience better. We're trying to make the TV experience better for the biggest customers that television has, the viewer and the advertiser.